Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, we would like to present to you the story of Saksi Gopal. During the manifest pilgrimage pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the story of Saksi Gopal was narrated. During his pilgrimage to Yajapura, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the town of Cuttack to see the temple of the witness Gopal. Overwhelmed by the beauty of the deity, he chanted and danced and offered many prayers to Gopal. That night, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in the temple along with all the devotees and Nityananda Prabhu. Previously, when Nityananda Prabhu had toured India, he also had come to see Saksi Gopal at Cuttack. At that time, Nityananda Prabhu had heard the story of Saksi Gopal from the townspeople. He now recited this again, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the narration of the witness Gopal with great pleasure. We hope you will also enjoy this rendition of the story of Saksi Gopal. We would also like to mention that just as Saksi Gopal agreed to accompany the young Brahmana as a witness to his home village, we would also like to dedicate this drama to Srila Prabhupada, who invited the Lord in his deity form to these Western countries so that we can celebrate, like today, Janmastami for Sri Sri Radhagiri Hare. So now I would like to introduce the drama of Saksi Gopal.
Formerly, at Vijayanagar in South India, there were two Brahmanas who made a long tour to see different places of pilgrimage. First of all, they visited Gaya, then Kashi, then Prayag. Finally, with great pleasure, they came to Mathura. They visited the different forests of Vrindavan and arrived at Govardhan Hill. At last, they came to the town of Vrindavan, in the village of Panchagroshi. There was a great temple where the gorgeous worship of Gopal was performed. Feeling great happiness, they remained there for a few days. Because of the young Brahmin boy's constant service to his travelling companion, the elderly Brahmana never experienced fatigue. Deeply moved by the service rendered to him, the elderly Brahmana decided to offer the Brahmin boy his daughter in marriage. Although the elderly Brahmana was convinced, the younger Brahmana did not consider himself a suitable bridegroom for such a nobleman's daughter. The young Brahmin expressed concern about how the elderly man's relatives could accept his lack of aristocracy, education, and wealth. The young Brahmin requested if he had decided to give his young daughter to him in marriage, then say so before the Gopal deity. Coming before Gopal, the elderly Brahmana said, "My dear Lord, please witness that I have given my daughter to this boy." The young Brahmana addressed the deity saying, "My dear Lord, you are my witness. I shall call for you to testify if it is necessary later on." After returning to Vijayanagar, the elderly Brahmana soon became very anxious. He began to think, "I have given my word to a Brahmana in a holy place, and I must now inform my relatives and friends." The relatives were extremely disappointed. They declared, "If you offer your daughter to a degraded family, your aristocracy will be lost. People will make jokes and laugh at you." The elderly Brahmana couldn't bear the thought of breaking his promise and resolved to give his daughter in charity. His wife and son declared, "If you give your daughter to that boy, we shall give up all connection with you. Indeed, we shall take poison and die." The elderly Brahmana said, "The young Brahmin will call Sri Gopalji as a witness, and my religious principles will become meaningless." His son replied, "The deity is in a distant country. How can he come to bear witness? Simply say, 'I do not remember.' I shall take care of the rest." The son told the young Brahmin boy that he was most degraded because he wanted to marry his sister, who was like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon. The next day, the young Brahmin gathered together all the people of the village and told them about the gentleman's promise made in the holy land of Raj. They asked the elderly Brahmana if he had promised to give his daughter in charity. Why did he not fulfill his promise? The elderly Brahmana replied that he did not exactly remember making a promise like that. The elderly Brahmana's son took the opportunity to juggle some words. While touring various holy places of pilgrimage, my father carried much money. Seeing the money, this rogue decided to take it away. There was no one besides this man with my father. Giving him an intoxicant, it made my father mad. He stole my father's money, and now he's claiming that my father has promised him his daughter in charity. All of you assembled here are great gentlemen. Please judge whether it is befitting to offer this poor Brahmana my father's daughter. Hearing all these statements, all the people gathered there became a little doubtful. They thought it quite possible that because of attraction for riches, one may give up his religious principles. At that time, the young Brahmana said, "My dear gentlemen, please hear me. Just to gain victory in an argument, this man is lying." I told the Brahmana, "I'm not a fit husband for your daughter." But he insisted again and again. I said to him, "My dear sir, you'll not be able to fulfill your promise. Your promise will be broken." I then concentrated my mind and requested the Brahmana to make the promise before the Gopal deity. He said, "My dear Lord, please bear witness. I have offered my daughter to this Brahmana in charity." Accepting the Gopal deity as my witness, I said, "My dear Lord, I shall call upon you as a witness if needed." The elderly Brahmana agreed. If Gopal personally came as a witness, he would give his daughter to the young Brahmin. The young Brahmin boy informed the assembly that the elderly Brahmana was certainly truthful and was following religious principles. Fearing that his kinsman would commit suicide, he had reluctantly deviated from the truth. The young boy resolved to call the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a witness to keep the pious Brahmin's promise intact. The young Brahmana narrated to the deity all that had happened in Vijayanagar, insisting that he did not want the daughter for himself and that the old Brahmin's promise would be protected if the Lord bore witness from his beautiful face. Lord Gopal replied that he had never heard of a deity walking from one place to another. The Brahmana replied, "That is true, but if you can talk, you can walk." Sri Gopal then smiled and said, "My dear Brahmana, I shall walk behind you, but do not try to see me by turning around. As soon as you see me, I shall remain stationary in that very place. You'll know that I'm walking behind you by the sound of my ankle bells." Thus, in the presence of all the townspeople, Lord Gopal bore witness that the elderly Brahmana had offered his young daughter in charity to the young Brahmin, and the marriage ceremony was performed. Lord Gopal stayed and the two Brahmanas engaged in his service. After hearing of the incident, many people from different countries came to see Gopal. The king of the region also heard of the wonderful story and came to see Gopal. The king constructed a grand temple and daily service was performed. Gopal became famous under the name of Saksi Gopal.
Hare Krishna, wasn't that a wonderful performance? Yes, can we have a loud Hare Krishna for them? Hare Krishna, thank you so